Hello everybody, this is my UI design presentation. Um, my project is revolved around Assassin's Creed Valhalla, with the aim of the project being to design a more immersive UI for the game, with my main focus being on the player inventory and the in-game HUD. The main problem with the current UI is that it distracts the player from the beauty and the attention to detail of the open world, as well as the menus being overly clunky and slow to navigate. These videos on this slide do a great job of breaking down some of the good and bad UI designs that can be seen across pretty much all multimedia platforms. Some of the most common problems seem to be the over reliance on boxes and logos to convey information rather than just your basic clean text. They also don't seem to like the overcrowdedness of modern open world game UIs, particularly open world Ubisoft games. Which makes me feel like the UI of the game would benefit from displaying items in lists of text rather than full of pictures and logos. In terms of research, I started looking into different representations of UI, such as diegetic or spatial UI, to maybe start thinking about ways in which they could be incorporated into the project. I was also reading in the theories like Miller's Law, and which led me to think that most of the obvious issues with SE Valhalla is just the overabundance of AI on the screen, so which kind of confirms what the videos are saying. And then some of the blogs on uh, game developer or some of the videos by Game Maker Toolkit helped give me a better understanding of the different representations of UA and how they can be used to enhance a game in their own specific ways, which helped me actually realise that I can't rely on diegetic UI as much as I would have liked, as there's actually a fair amount of drawbacks that would have made it unsuitable for the game, like this difficulty of implementation and lack of clarity to the player. From a post investigation, I created three different player personas that would actually play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, including the stealth enthusiast, the action adventure seeker, and the classic SE fan, with each player having their own ways of playing and experiencing the game, which is why I created this diagram on the right side, which helped me kind of see where their interests overlapped, and helped me better prioritize the different features that would need to go into the redesign of the UI. Well, the key information I took away from this is that the UI would have to allow the player to be able to actually appreciate the world design of the game, as well as actually staying out of the way of gameplay while helping promote immersion. Um, I also saw on the blogs on like Assassin's or other online blogs and places like Assassin's Creed Reddit page that there's a there's like a community of players that like to play with the HUD completely turned off, as it helps promote immersion, which helps me make me think. So in order to promote immersion, tone down the UA. And in terms of influences, the biggest one would probably be Ghost of Tsushima, because I like the way how rather than a compass, the game uses wind to tell the player where to go, which is and it's just as it's just as impactful, but it doesn't take up any screen space. I also like when it actually does need to use screen space, it keeps the HUD, like the health bar and the ability points, down in the bottom corners and tucked like in small logos as well that stay out of the way of the gameplay, which is something I'd probably like to incorporate. And then Red Dead 2, I like how the customization of the characters actually, you can see it happening on the player rather than you just click a button and you hopefully get what you like. So these are some of my wireframes. I started with scamping out the in-game HUD and the menu for interacting with the blacksmith and the kind of screen you would see when you equipped your gear. So I started with adding the bird. You can use the player's bird to, instead of a compass, replace the compass with the bird. So um, you can just follow it instead of having to constantly look at your icons. Um, and then I replaced the constant ability logos in the bottom of the screens with that'll only appear if you press the RT and LT buttons for each one, kind of like Ghost of Tsushima does. And like Ghost of Tsushima again, I made the player health and stamina a lot smaller and just tucked away into the corner more to help stay out of the way. And Also added a weapon wheel. Well, the game has a weapon wheel, but I made it. Added the arrow counter to it and the health potion counter to it because you don't really need to know that information all the time. So it was just a easier way of keeping the screen cleaner, but also letting the player know that information. Um, and then blacksmithing I wanted, so you can see it's quite similar to actually the older games. So I just have mainly the text on the left side with the information on the right side and a picture or a representation of the actual item. And the gear, so whenever you're picking your gear, you would walk up to a mannequin and buttons would just appear and you select the button that would focus on the different kinds of gear that you want. So if you selected the helmet, the stats would appear here along with what you currently have, and you can compare the two. And then these are some of the low fidelity wireframes of those scamps. Um, you can see that I've added the different list hierarchies for the different weapons and melee or weapon fighting styles and armors. And then these are my high fidelity drawings, or wireframes. Originally, I had the text appearing without any backgrounds because I was trying to make the HUD be like unintrusive as possible to the gameplay, just keep it clear in the game world as much as possible. But I got some feedback from one of my friends that said that it would be better just to add some background to the text box, which I think actually improved it quite a bit. Um, and you can see there's the bird there flying in the, which so the player would follow him if he wants to know where to go, and your abilities in these wee slots, and then the player's armor stats showing up whenever they select which gear they want. And then in terms of my portfolio, I've uploaded, I've got all my content uploaded to the portfolio and the structure done out. I just need to finish writing out the actual information. But in terms of that, okay. But yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching.